When a single dad struggling to make ends meet reached out to Elon Musk for help, he never expected what happened next. The billionaire CEO, known for his groundbreaking innovations, didn't just offer words of encouragement. He took action in a way that left everyone stunned. From securing a job for the dad to funding his child's education, Musk's response was nothing short of life-changing. This isn't just a story about generosity. It's a powerful reminder that even the smallest act of kindness can transform lives. Get ready. This heartwarming tale will leave you inspired and in awe. Life had never been easy for Mark Thompson. A single dad in his late 30s, Mark had been juggling 2 jobs just to keep a roof over his 8-year-old daughter Emily's head. Ever since his wife passed away from a sudden illness 3 years ago, Mark had been doing everything he could to provide for Emily, but it felt like the world was against him. One evening, after a long shift at the warehouse, Mark sat at the kitchen table, staring at a stack of unpaid bills. Emily was asleep in the next room, her soft breathing a reminder of why he kept pushing forward. But tonight, the weight of it all felt unbearable. "How am I going to do this?" Mark whispered to himself, running a hand through his hair. The next morning, as Mark dropped Emily off at school, he noticed a flyer on the bulletin board. It was for a local tech conference, featuring none other than Elon Musk as the keynote speaker. Mark's heart skipped a beat. He had always admired Musk, not just for his success, but for his willingness to take risks and think outside the box. Maybe, just maybe, Mark thought, a spark of hope igniting in his chest. That afternoon, Mark mustered up the courage to write a letter to Musk. He poured his heart out, explaining his struggles as a single dad and his dreams of giving Emily a better life. He didn't expect a response. After all, Musk was one of the busiest people in the world, but he had to try. To his surprise, a week later, Mark received an email from Musk's team. They had read his letter and wanted to invite him to the conference for a chance to meet Musk in person. Mark couldn't believe it. He immediately called his boss to request the day off, then spent the next few days preparing for the meeting. He didn't know what to expect, but he knew this could be a turning point for him and Emily. The day of the conference arrived, and Mark found himself standing in a crowded auditorium, his heart pounding as Musk took the stage. The billionaire CEO spoke about innovation, the future of technology, and the importance of perseverance. Mark listened intently, his admiration for Musk growing with every word. When the Q&A session began, Mark's hand shot up. To his amazement, Musk pointed to him. "Yes, you in the blue shirt," Musk said, his voice carrying through the room. Mark stood up, his hands trembling as he held the microphone. "Mr. Musk," he began, his voice shaky but determined, "my name is Mark Thompson. I'm a single dad, and I've been struggling to provide for my daughter. I wrote you a letter, and I just want to say thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak with you." The room fell silent as Musk leaned forward, his expression thoughtful. "Tell me more, Mark," he said. Mark took a deep breath and shared his story, how he had lost his wife, how he was working 2 jobs just to make ends meet, and how he dreamed of giving Emily a better life. When Mark finished, the room was silent. Then, slowly, applause began to ripple through the crowd. Musk stood up, his eyes locked on Mark. "Mark," he said, his voice firm but kind, "you're exactly the kind of person we need at Tesla. I want to offer you a job, not just any job, but a position where you can grow and thrive. And I want to make sure Emily has everything she needs to succeed, too." Mark felt tears welling up in his eyes. I don't know what to say," he stammered. Musk smiled. "You don't have to say anything. Just be ready to start on Monday." The room erupted into cheers as Mark sat down, his mind racing. He couldn't believe what had just happened. In a matter of minutes, his life had been completely transformed. But the surprises didn't end there. As the applause died down, Mark Thompson sat in stunned silence, his mind racing. Elon Musk had just offered him a job at Tesla, a dream opportunity he never thought possible. But as the initial shock wore off, doubts began to creep in. What if I'm not good enough? Mark thought, his hands trembling. What if I let him down? The conference continued, but Mark barely heard a word. His mind was consumed with questions and fears. When the event ended, Musk's assistant approached him. "Mr. Thompson," she said with a warm smile, "Mr. Musk would like to speak with you privately. Please follow me." Mark nodded, his heart pounding as he followed her to a small conference room. Musk was already there, sitting at the head of the table, scrolling through his phone. He looked up as Mark entered. "Mark," Musk said, gesturing to a chair, "have a seat." Mark sat down, his nerves on edge. "Thank you, Mr. Musk. I don't know how to thank you for this opportunity." Musk waved a hand dismissively. "Call me Elon. And don't thank me yet. I want to make sure this is the right fit for both of us." Mark swallowed hard. "What do you mean?" Musk leaned forward, his expression serious. "The job I'm offering isn't easy. It's in our logistics department, and it's fast-paced, high-pressure work. Are you up for that?" Mark hesitated. He had never worked in a corporate environment before, let alone at a company as prestigious as Tesla. But then he thought of Emily, of the life he wanted to give her. "I'll do whatever it takes," Mark said, his voice steady. Musk smiled. "That's the spirit. But there's one more thing." Mark's heart skipped a beat. "What's that?" "I want to meet Emily," Musk said. "I'd like to hear her story too." Mark blinked, surprised. You want to meet my daughter?" Musk nodded. "Family is important to me. I want to make sure she's taken care of, too." Mark felt a surge of gratitude. "Of course. I'd be honored." The next day, Mark brought Emily to Tesla headquarters. She was wide-eyed with wonder as they walked through the sleek, modern building. "Daddy," she whispered, clutching his hand, "is this where you're going to work?" Mark smiled down at her. "Maybe, sweetheart. We'll see." When they reached Musk's office, he greeted them with a warm smile. "You must be Emily," he said, crouching down to her level. Emily nodded shyly. "Hi, Mr. Musk." Musk chuckled. "Call me Elon. And don't be nervous. I just want to get to know you." As they sat down, Musk asked Emily about her favorite subjects in school, her hobbies, and her dreams for the future. She lit up as she talked about her love for science and her dream of becoming an astronaut. Musk listened intently, his expression thoughtful. "You know," he said, "we're working on some pretty cool space projects at SpaceX. Maybe one day you'll be one of the first people to go to Mars." Emily's eyes widened. "Really?" Musk nodded. "Really. But first, you've got to study hard and never give up on your dreams." Emily grinned. "I will." As the meeting wrapped up, Musk turned to Mark. "I'll have my team finalize the details of your job offer. And don't worry, we'll make sure Emily has everything she needs to succeed, too." Mark felt tears welling up in his eyes. "Thank you, Elon. This means the world to us." Musk smiled. "You're welcome, Mark. But remember, this is just the beginning." As Mark and Emily left Tesla headquarters, Mark felt a renewed sense of hope. For the first time in years, he felt like he was on the right path. But the journey wasn't without its challenges. Mark's first few weeks at Tesla were overwhelming. The job was demanding, and he often felt out of his depth. But he refused to give up. He worked tirelessly, determined to prove himself. One evening, as Mark was leaving work, he ran into one of his colleagues, a young woman named Sarah. "Hey, Mark," she said, falling into step beside him. "How's it going?" Mark sighed. "It's a lot. I feel like I'm barely keeping up." Sarah nodded sympathetically. "I felt the same way when I first started. But trust me, it gets easier. And if you ever need help, just ask." Mark smiled, grateful for her support. "Thanks, Sarah. I appreciate it." As the weeks passed, Mark began to find his footing. He worked closely with his team, learning the ins and outs of the logistics department. And with each passing day, he felt more confident in his abilities. But the real test came one afternoon, when Musk called him into his office. "Mark," Musk said, his tone serious, "we've got a problem." As Emily peppered the engineers with questions about space travel, Musk approached Mark with a smile. "She's a natural," Musk said, watching Emily with admiration. "She's got the curiosity and drive of a future astronaut." Mark nodded, his heart swelling with pride. "She's amazing. And it's all thanks to you, Elon. You've given us a chance we never thought we'd have." Musk waved a hand dismissively. "Don't thank me. You're the one who's put in the hard work. I just gave you the opportunity." As the months passed, Mark's life continued to change in ways he never could have imagined. He became a mentor to new employees at Tesla, sharing his story and inspiring others to never give up on their dreams. But the most important change was within Mark himself. He had gone from a struggling single dad to a confident, successful professional, ready to take on whatever challenges came his way. One day, as Mark was preparing to present a new logistics strategy to Musk and the executive team, he received a letter from Emily's school. "Dear Mr. Thompson," it read, "we are pleased to inform you that Emily has been selected for our advanced science program. Her passion and talent for STEM subjects have not gone unnoticed, and we believe she has a bright future ahead of her." Mark felt tears welling up in his eyes as he read the letter. He couldn't believe how far they had come. That evening, as they celebrated Emily's achievement over dinner, Mark felt a sense of gratitude he had never felt before. "Emily," he said, his voice filled with emotion, "I'm so proud of you. You're going to do amazing things." Emily grinned. "Thanks, Daddy. But I couldn't have done it without you." Mark reached across the table, taking her hand in his. "We're a team, sweetheart. And as long as we've got each other, we can do anything." Meanwhile, Musk continued to support Mark in every way he could. He introduced him to other innovators and entrepreneurs, helping him build a network of mentors and collaborators. He also encouraged Mark to think big, to dream beyond Tesla and imagine what else he could achieve. One evening, as they were discussing Mark's future, Musk asked, "What's next for you, Mark? What's your next big idea?" Mark thought for a moment, then smiled. "I'm not sure yet. But I know I want to keep solving problems, keep making a difference. There's so much more to do." Musk nodded, a proud smile on his face. "That's the spirit. The world needs more people like you, Mark. People who aren't afraid to dream big and work hard to make those dreams a reality." As the months turned into years, Mark's story began to inspire others. He became a role model for single parents everywhere, proving that with determination and support, anything is possible. But the most important impact was on Emily. She grew up watching her father overcome challenges and achieve his dreams, and it inspired her to do the same. One day, as Mark was preparing to leave for work, Emily handed him a drawing she had made. "It's for you, Daddy," she said, her eyes shining with pride. Mark looked down at the drawing. It was a picture of a rocket, with the words, to the stars, written across the top. "This is amazing, sweetheart," Mark said, his voice filled with emotion. "Thank you." Emily smiled. "You're welcome, Daddy. And one day, I'm going to ride that rocket to Mars." Mark pulled her into a tight hug. "I know you will, sweetheart. And I'll be right there cheering you on." As Mark walked out the door that morning, he felt a sense of pride and purpose. He had come a long way from the struggling single dad who had written a letter to Elon Musk, and he knew that this was just the beginning. The story of Mark Thompson and Elon Musk is more than just a tale of professional success. It's a powerful reminder of the impact one person can have when they choose to believe in someone else. Musk's decision to support a struggling single dad didn't just change Mark's life. It inspired a ripple effect of hope, determination, and kindness that touched countless lives. For Mark, the experience was a turning point. He went